have ever known. I was never crazy on my own, and now I know. How can I think I'm standing strong?
Well, I've been singing since I was about 8, but it was always a hobby up until I was about 15, 16. It didn't become serious before then because I wasn't really writing, and also I didn't really have the artists who inspired me that much, as, say, for example, Eva Cassidy and Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell later did. And then I picked up the guitar not long after that, so I picked up the guitar about sort of 4 years ago. And I don't really consider myself an amazing guitarist, but I love writing on the guitar, and I love sort of accompanying myself with it. It's a nice sort of pairing of, you know, just a voice and a guitar. But there's only one reason, which is that you can, the guitar and the piano, you can accompany yourself. You know, you can play more than one note at a time. Pretty much any other instrument, like the violin, you know, flute, or brass instruments, you can only play one note at a time. So it would be pretty, you know, I presume it's pretty hard to write on those instruments because you haven't got the harmonics that you get when you have a guitar and a piano. I guess moving around at such a young age, I was exposed to very sort of contrasting cultures, from Georgia, you know, the ex-Soviet Union, to Belfast, Northern Ireland, to England in the UK. And yeah, it was sort of, I think it kind of, musically speaking, it kind of opened me up to accepting the fact that there are so many different styles of music, and it sort of made me quite confident in picking a style that wasn't very mainstream, and I don't know, and just doing things that you want to do creatively rather than be pushed by or be striving for fame or you know, or money, that kind of thing. And those aspects of my job aren't, you know, as amazing as I think people think they are, those who don't have it, I guess. You know, it's that idea of the grass is always greener on the other side.
How can you let me watch you sleep?
Well, the first album, it was really from meeting my producer, Mike Batt. Well, I was going to music college around the age of sort of from 16 to 18, and then in my last year of college, Mike Batt came to the college, and he heard a song I'd written about Eva Cassidy called Faraway Voice, and seemed to like it. And then a week later, he let me hear some of his songs, and I absolutely loved them. And we kind of just started, we sort of said to each other, let's just try sort of working together for a little bit. And so we went into the studio, and me and the band would kind of jam. We tried out recording many different types of songs, some of his songs, some of my songs, some old sort of jazz, blues, traditional songs. And it just seemed to go so well. That sort of lasted for 9 months. And then at the end of it, we had this album. And yeah, and obviously in the middle of that, we tried to get a record deal with a major record company, but didn't really succeed at that. And so decided to release the album on the label Dramatico, which is the label that Mike owns, which is based in his house. And then we put the record out to radio in the UK, and that was when it kind of all took off, because slowly people kind of started responding to the music, and it kind of, yeah, it you know, after the release, it took about 3 months, and then the album went to #1. Well, to be honest, the second album is the focal point for me right now. It's what I'm concentrating on, and you know, I'm planning to release it sort of October time. Well, the thing is, that first album was recorded 2 years ago, and you end up sort of evolving and changing so much, and particularly the age difference of 18 and 20, even though it's only 2 years, it's, you know, you do mature so much, and so, you know, my music has kind of gone in a certain direction, and you know, I think if people want to hear what they heard on the first album, I say to them, go buy the first album, you know. This is the second album, it's going to be different, but I'll definitely try to keep that idea the same, which is the focal point has to be, you know, the lyrics and the melodies. It's still about the songs.
How can I have got in so deep? Why did
I think I would probably have to say Eva Cassidy. You know, I'm a huge, huge fan of hers, and basically, if I hadn't heard of her when I did, I definitely wouldn't have ended up making this album, because not only in the sort of, you know, I don't know if you're superstitious, but in the weird way that I end up writing a song about her, and a week later, you know, Mike Batt comes to the school and kind of sort of, you know, helps me out in the sense of making this album and you know, making this record. So and she really inspired me. I mean, I think she's just absolutely amazing, and it's really what she does with her voice, which is just, it's so intellectual, and she's an amazing interpreter and probably the greatest artist of my generation.
How can you make me fall apart?
The oddest place was probably a Mercedes car factory in Germany. Yes, it was. It was actually, they do a festival in a town called Baden-Baden, and one of the venues for the festival is this car factory. But they don't actually turn off the machines, so while you're playing, these machines look like robots. Sort of reminds you a little bit, you know that last scene in Terminator 2?
Yes.
It's kind of like that. And so these machines are like moving, and you know, I'm waiting for Arnold Schwarzenegger to walk out any minute now. But yeah, so that was pretty weird.
Being close to craziness and being close to you.
I'd have to say, I mean, for some reason, I'm attracted to Norway. I don't know why, but I really like Norway. It's a very beautiful country. You know, its natural beauty is stunning, and it's always fun going and playing there. You know, the fans always seem to be up for it, and always, I don't know, you always end up having a laugh there. Hong Kong seems like such an amazing place. I haven't had much chance to look around yet, but hopefully will be soon. But the views of, you know, from the hotel are stunning. It's funny, when I sort of got off the flight and started driving into Hong Kong, I felt like I'd sort of gone in the future about 50 years, because it looks so kind of advanced, and all the buildings are so tall and just look very they kind of really dwarf you. They're amazing. I guess I'd love to, you know, continue to make music and make the sort of music that challenges myself as an artist and challenges my audience, and I don't know, just you know, make the sort of things that I'm happy with at the end of, I guess, my life. I can look back on and be happy about.